All right, let's get on to our first conversation now, looking at regulatory issues. We know the Securities and Exchange Commission have a leadership shakeup at this time with the appointment of Dr. Imamotuni Agama as the SEC Director General, and board constituted in the persons of Mr. Bola Jomale, Executive Commissioner. We also have Mrs. Samia Hassan Usman, Executive Commissioner. We have Frana Chukwuogo, Executive Commissioner, and Mr. Lekon Bello, non-executive commissioners. Also, Mr. Kasimu Garba Kurfi, also as non-executive commissioner at this time. So we're seeing a whole shake-up there with the leadership. Well, let's get a sense of what's before this new leadership pending. We get what the House has to say, about these persons at this time, if they get, the thumbs up to carry on. Join us now is Professor Uche Waleke, Professor of Capital Market and Director, Institute of Capital Market Studies, Nasarawa State University. Join us from our Abuja studio. Great to have you on the show.
Thanks so much, Ladi. So my pleasure being here.
Fantastic. So talk to me about this new leadership, pending approval by the House at this time. What would you say are the issues, before this new leadership?
Well, I would say even the current leadership has done well in terms of improving the confidence of the market in regulation. I'm sure you will agree with me that the regulatory environment, the capital market environment, has improved, significantly. The current leadership at the SEC was largely responsible for the revised capital market master plan, and we've also seen that the same leadership was responsible for the launch of the e-dividend mandate, management system. So I think overall, amidst serious challenges, they have been able to, record some achievements, which I expect the new leadership to, to continue. When I talk about serious challenge, I'm particularly referring to the directive, by the government with respect to self-funded organizations, auto deducting 50% of their gross earnings, at source. That's to a large extent affected the operations of the SEC, no doubt. And I hope that this issue will be looked into such that the new leadership, doesn't have to grapple with such a, major challenge, a major drawback.
And talk to me about, some of the new cabinets we have there and the new DG. Tell me what you know about him.
Well, I think it's a fantastic team that has been put together. Again, not too far from what we also had in the past, or what, of course, the team that is currently in place. The new team, I would say, round pegs in round holes. That's the best way to describe them. Beginning with the DG designate, Dr. Timi Agama. He's somebody I've known for quite a while. It may interest you to note that in 2004 or thereabouts, we were together teaching in one institute in Abuja. The same year I left for Nasarawa State University, to be a pioneer staff. He also got into the Securities and Exchange Commission. So that's to say he has been in the commission for 20 years. So he's somebody that understands the markets. Again, our paths crossed when I joined the commission on sabbatical as chief economist and director of research. We worked very closely together. And even shortly before then, both of us were in South Korea on a study tour of the Korean capital markets, visiting Seoul and Busan, to study the derivative market in South Korea. He led a team then from the commission and also the exchange and some exchanges, including the current CEO of the Nigerian Exchange, that's Exchange Limited, talking about Jude Chemeka. We were all there, in South Korea. And the report we did, I led a team of consultants, engaged by the SEC at the time, under the leadership then of the acting DG, Mary Uduk. The report we produced was what has led to today the facilitation of the introduction of derivatives products in the Nigerian market, which the SEC, of course, as you know, has licensed about 8 derivatives products. So Dr. Agama is somebody I've worked with a number of times, and I can tell you that he's fit for purpose. He's a typical round peg in a round hole. He understands the market. He's been through many departments in SEC. At the time I was there, he was heading at one point exchanges and letter registration. So I think he is a typical capital market regulator, and I have no doubt he will do well. And he's being supported by very experienced operators, capital market operators. Take the case of the Executive Commission Operations, for example. The very fine gentleman. He was the former MD CEO of NAST. Talking about Bola Jomale, NAST, PLC. An investment expert, and today he's the Executive Commissioner of Operations. Of course, he is very fit for that. The Executive Commissioner Legal, Frine Achukwago, again, a very brilliant lawyer. When I was in the commission, she was also there. We worked together. Then she was in legal unit, so she also understands, what she's going to do. The Executive Commissioner Corporate Services, Mrs. Usman is bringing to the commission her experiences at the debt management office. So I think these three will really support Dr. Agama. If you also come over to the non-executive commissioners, they're also well known in the market. If you are talking about the Leko Bello, fine gentleman, stockbroker, former commissioner for finance in Ogun State, with a whole lot of experience. And then another popular person in the market there, Garba Coffee, MD CEO, APT Securities Limited. They're all well grounded. And of course, you talk about the chairman. The chairman, Meriga Aliyu Katoka, is also somebody that is well experienced. The chairman is from my second state. My second state is Nasarawa State, and he's from there. He's from Kefi, retired central banker. He retired from central bank for many years and has been in the financial sector. And it's important that he's also been brought in, because what's the function of the board? Essentially is corporate governance. Essentially is to ensure that the commission is, the management is, following the rules. The commission is being run well. The market is being run well. The financial system is stable. And that's why you also need somebody with, deep insights into the working of the financial system as a whole. So his experience at the central bank will go a long way to rub off on the effectiveness of the board. So overall, Ladi, I think the president, chose a very good team, and that of Dr. Timi Agama excites me because, as I said earlier on, I know he's going to deliver, and I want them to continue along the line of what Lamido Iguda has done. Lamido Iguda, no doubt, has done well himself and his team. He also, of course, has very fine people working with him. The likes of Dayo Obisan, and a very experienced, qualified fund manager that headed the executive, the operations unit. Okay. There's also Ibrahim Boyi, well experienced for corporate services, and of course Reginald Karawosa, who has been there legal. So the team has done well despite challenges, and I want the new team, to move the stage higher.
Thank you so much for giving us a great background there of the new leadership, we have at this time, pending approval by the House. But let's talk about some of the issues, before this new leadership. We know regulating cryptocurrency is a big headache for regulators now globally. And we see Nigeria's blockchain stakeholders. They've expressed hope and confidence, in this newly appointed Director General, saying that he's kind of he has a pro-crypto, background, at this time. What do you think will be his approach at cryptocurrency at this time?
Well, I think the commission will strengthen what is already on ground. Well, as you know, all over the world, particularly in developed economies, we've had this tussle between who should be regulating crypto assets. And that's not surprising, given the, we say crypto asset is one asset that suffers a definition problem. You wouldn't know whether it's a currency, you wouldn't know whether it's an asset, you wouldn't know whether it's a commodity. So you find regulators, especially in other climes, battling, battling with a jurisdiction. In the US, for example, this battle has been between the Securities and Exchange Commission in the US and the Commodities Exchange and Trading Commission. But in Nigeria, it's interesting to note that it does appear that the central bank has, recognized or is beginning to recognize that the Securities and Exchange Commission has a major role to play in regulating, crypto assets, because crypto assets are more of speculative assets in our own case than, currencies. So the central bank has also said that banks should only deal with crypto exchanges or crypto platforms that are licensed by SEC. And as far back as 2001, 2002, SEC came up with rules for regulating, digital assets. I think even during that time, it came up with even capital requirements, saying digital exchanges should have a minimum of 500 million or so in terms of capital. There was a fee for filing fee, processing fee, and all that. And it also went ahead to define what digital assets are, digital virtual asset, platforms. So I think there is already a regulation in place. And of course, you also hear that a number of even crypto startups have even applied to the Commission for a license, talking about, I think, Luno and one Quidas also have applied. So that's to tell you that the Commission already has something, some sort of framework in place to regulate cryptocurrencies. So what this new board now needs to do is to up the ante, to strengthen it and to ensure that, only, of course, in conjunction with central bank, only licensed crypto, assets or exchanges in Nigeria allowed to function. The likes of Binance, the likes of, Bybit, the likes of KU Coin, we have seen how devastating their impacts, have been on the economy. The other day, you had the EFCC chairman talking about, freezing 300 accounts linked to this P2P platform. So it's important that if they want to operate in Nigeria, they should come and formally register with the Commission, and so that the activities can,
right,
come under regulation. That's very important.
Yeah, I guess this new leadership have a lot of work, before them at this time. But thank you so much for breaking it down for us, Professor Uche Waleke, Professor of Capital Market and Director, Institute of Capital Market Studies, Nasarawa State University, KEFI. Thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure, Ladi.